Come ride the little train that is rolling down the tracks to the junction. Forget about your cares, it is time to relax at the junction. Lots of curves, you bet, and even more when you get to the junction.
Petticoat Junction.
There's a little hotel called the Shady Rest at the junction.
Petticoat Junction.
It is run by Joe, come and be his guest at the junction.
Petticoat Junction.
Here's our lady MD, she's as pretty as can be at the junction. Petticoat Junction.
Wasn't she a good little girl? She didn't cry once.
Sure was.
Yeah, she and Uncle Joe slept the whole sermon. Hey, Bobby Joe, let's go make some coffee. Oh, that sounds good. Oh, come on, sweetheart. I'll take you upstairs and maybe you'll take a nap, okay?
Okay, Princess, see you later.
It was a fine sermon, don't you think?
Oh, pretty good. Of course, I kind of favor a little more fire and brimstone. Makes you feel a little more purified, you know what I mean?
Well, Reverend Barton isn't exactly a fire and brimstone type.
Oh, he's one of them go thou and sin no more type of fellas. What did you think of his idea for the organ fund? One word, goofy.
Oh, now, Joe, I'm sure Reverend Barton gave it a lot of thought.
Sure, he gave it a lot of thought. Come up with a goofy idea. Yeah, the Reverend ain't exactly the slickest businessman in the world. Imagine hiring a professional fundraiser. Boy.
Well, that's quite a common practice now, Joe.
Not around here. Never needed one before, did we, Sam? Nope. And we've had an organ fund for 10 years.
How much money is in the fund?
$113.
Maybe that's why you need a professional.
Well, I'll tell you the type of fellow you'd be stuck with. Checkered vest, pointy shoes, one of them little mustaches.
How do you know that, Joe?
That's what the guy looked like that sold me the Persian rug. There went $11 right down the drain.
Coffee's ready.
Oh, I could use some of that. Wonder when the Reverend's going to show up with this guy. I ain't got all day. Joe, if you got something better to do, which I doubt, go ahead. Sam, it's my duty. I got to meet this guy and check him out.
Don't you trust the Reverend's judgment?
Yeah, I trust him all right. Sometimes he gets carried away with this mercy and goodness stuff. And Joe's immune to that. I'm just looking out for the church members' interests.
Well, I wish they'd get here. I just hate getting behind schedule on the first run of the day.
Hey, here they are now.
Well, good morning, all.
Good morning.
Gentlemen, this is Mr. Fred Kirby. Mr. Sam Drucker.
Glad to meet you.
Mr. Joseph Carson. Mr. Wendell Gibbs.
How do you do? Glad to meet you.
As you know, Mr. Kirby has graciously consented to head up our fundraising drive for the new organ.
Oh, yes, we know.
How much is he charging for his gracious consent?
Well, our standard fee is 5% of the money collected. That is, if it's not too much. I wouldn't want anybody to feel cheated or anything.
Well, that's really quite reasonable.
Oh, I'd say so. Now, wait a minute. Wait a minute, you guys. You're lucky you've got a good business head like mine to check out these things for you. Now, let's see, 5%. We're shooting for $2,000. That's 5% of $2,000. That's, well, it gets up there.
$100.
For all of that. Joe, that's exactly it. Crying out loud. Mr. Kirby, it's a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you very much.
Can we go now? You know my schedule.
Oh, yes, of course. Joe, I took the liberty of suggesting that Mr. Kirby make his headquarters at the Shady Rest.
Why not? We're in the hotel business. Rent rooms to everybody.
Fine. I'll get the station wagon and back it up to the train and we can unload the organ.
Joe, I had hoped that you could make a concession in Mr. Kirby's case.
Yeah, after all, he's here on the Lord's work. He's helping the church. Okay. Knock 10% off. But at those prices, no changing towels every day.
And to think that the title of my sermon last Sunday was Charity, Sweet Charity.
Yeah. Well, Joe ain't much for letting the spirit of the Sabbath slop over into the weekdays. Well, this is it.
Well, it's a nice, comfortable-looking place.
Well, I've thought many times of remodeling it. The jet crowd prefers it this way, so I go along with them. I'll get some service for you.
Hi, that's quite a bellhop you got there.
It's not worth his salt. The other day, one of the guests rang for room service. He spilled the tray going up the stairs.
want us? If you didn't, we're still glad we showed up.
This is Mr. Kirby. These are my nieces, Billy Joe and Bobby Joe.
Hi, nice to meet you.
I'd like to have you sign him in.
Well, sure, we're glad to. I'll be there. I'm good, Bobby. I work. Good job.
Mr. Kirby here is going to be in charge of raising money for our organ fund.
Oh, really?
Yes, I'm here to give you good folks a hand.
Well, in that case, you don't have to sign in. Your room is free. And your meals will be free, too.
Oh, well, that's really nice of you, but I
Oh,
don't
we wouldn't
expect...
think of charging you, would we, Bobby Joe? No, we wouldn't. Would we, Uncle Joe? Of course we wouldn't.
Joe, could you give me a hand with bringing the organ up here?
Is the organ here already?
Well, it's just a demonstration model. I feel that folks always give better if they can see what they're going to get.
Oh, I think that's very smart of you.
Oh, thanks.
Joe, could you give me a hand, please? I'm still behind schedule.
Okay, Wendell. There it goes. But the little detect slip disc just went out again. Boy, this hasn't happened for quite a while.
No, not since I asked you to help me load that wood on the train.
I'll give you a hand, Mr. Gibbs.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Kirby.
Oh, I'll show you where it is. A stranger. I wouldn't want him to get lost the very first day.
It's not too heavy. A couple of us can handle it.
And now, if we'll all be seated, Mr. Kirby would like to talk to us about his plans for the fundraising campaign.
Thank you, Reverend. Now, folks, any fundraising campaign needs a goal. In this case, we have a very worthwhile goal, raising funds for an organ for your church. Yes, Mr. Carson?
Hey, just so we understand each other, this isn't the organ we're getting, right?
No, sir. You'll get an organ straight from the factory, still in its crate.
Good. Just wanted to make sure you weren't palming off, giving us a second-hand job.
No, sir. I thought I made that abundantly clear.
You did, Mr. Kirby. Will you leave the man alone and let him continue?
I'm just looking after the congregation's interests.
Now, for any fundraising campaign to be a success, it requires the cooperation and dedication of every individual concerned. And my job tonight is to kind of kindle a fire under each and every one of you so we can go, go, go right to the top. Now, I have here many projects that have proved successful in the past. Oh.
Brother, this guy a ball of fire.
Thank you.
You're most welcome.
The campaign. Over in Marysville, the people were very successful, under my guidance, in collecting money for a teeter-totter for the children's playground by having a bake sale. That's where all the women bake donuts and cakes and pies and cookies and a lot of real good stuff and sell it to the public.
Like a great idea, doesn't it?
One precaution, the women should get together first and decide what each one is going to bake. Over in Marysville, we had a huge run on oatmeal cookies. Now, in Storytown, the young people made oodles of money by holding a car wash. Maybe if we could get... Yes, Mr. Drucker?
In all of Greater Hooterville, we only have 4 cars, and one of them's a hot rod owned by the Riley boy, and it has no body.
Well, maybe in that case we ought to abandon the car wash idea. Car wash impractical. But folks, don't be disheartened. There are many ways to raise funds, like having a paper drive, collecting coat hangers, a candy sale, putting on shows, and so forth. And I'm sure with everybody here behind me and all the great enthusiasm generated here tonight, we can go, go, go right to the top. Thank you.
It's right this way.
Thanks.
It's right in here. This is it.
So if I can have it.
Hello, Bobby Joe, Mr. Kirby. Nice day. Well, what can I do for you?
He wants to use the telephone.
Oh, sure. This is it.
I already showed it to him.
Oh, yeah. Bobby Joe gives personalized service in certain cases. Well, I'm putting out a special edition of the World Guardian to promote the organ fund, so if you don't mind.
Oh, you go right ahead. We'll be just fine. Thought you wanted to use the telephone.
Well, I do, but
It's a private call.
if you don't mind.
Oh, no, I don't mind. I'll wait out in the make sure the door was shut.
It is. Hello, Marco. It's me.
Hi, kid. How's it going?
Smooth as silk. I got the deal already signed. I even got the money they already had collected, $113.
Good boy. Ain't nobody's read the contract yet, have they?
Are you kidding? That print was so fine I couldn't read it myself. Besides, they trust me. These yokels don't ask questions.
You know, those are the kind of people I like to deal with.
Everything all set for the organ switch? Nobody suspects anything, do they?
I told you, they trust me. By the way, I'm staying at a place called the Shady Rest Hotel. And get this, everything's free. Room, board, the works.
You're taking them to the cleaners and they're giving you free room and board? You're beautiful.
No, lovable. See you, boss.
So long, Freddie. See, what a great kid. Just like the son I never had.
Oh, say, it certainly is nice of you to wait for me.
Oh, we didn't mind a bit.
My goodness, with all you're doing for us, it's little enough.
All I'm doing for you.
Well, yes. Mr. Kirby, out here we don't always express ourselves too well, but I'm sure I speak for everyone in the valley when I say we're all very grateful to you. Right, Puppy Joe?
Right.
Yes, and we're all going to get behind you and go, 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 right to the top. Well, speaking of going, it's time we did. Oh, say, how would you like to ride up in the cab?
Well, I guess that would be quite an honor, wouldn't it?
Oh, right over there, Joe. Hey, take a look at this. We're getting there. That Kirby fella fooled us. He's really a worker.
He's the worker. Then how come the rest of us are exhausted?
Be that you're someone I know.
He was bold and very gay, so we looked the other way as we walked around the park that lovely day.
But it worked out, you can see. Instead of one, I now have three. As we walk around the park this lovely day, in the merry, merry month of May.
While strolling through the park one day, in the merry month of May, we were taken by surprise by a pair of roguish eyes as we strolled around the park that lovely day.
The smile was all they
the park this lovely day in the merry, merry month of May.
Oh, hello.
Hello, Doctor.
Well, it certainly looks as though we're going over the top, doesn't it?
It certainly does. I'm going to the city to get the new organ right now.
Oh, Mr. Kirby, I thought you'd like to know that you're a big hero to the people around here.
Me?
If it hadn't been for you, they wouldn't be realizing their dream.
Well, they did all the work.
But you were the catalyst. Until you came, it wasn't about to happen.
I see.
Doesn't it make you feel good to do something nice for people?
Well, yeah, I guess so.
Mr. Kirby, don't ever feel embarrassed about doing something noble. You should be proud.
What do you mean you can't go through with it?
Just that. I just can't do it to these nice people. If you could see how friendly and sincere and honest they are.
Well, of course they're friendly and sincere and honest. Add it all up, and that spells pigeon.
Marco, you just don't understand. They become more than just friendly. They become my friends.
I knew someday that nice streak would come out in you.
Then you let me tell them the truth and we can pull out of this deal?
I'm sorry, son. I can't let you do that to yourself. No, I know. You resent me now. But believe me, you'll thank me for it later, okay? Look, everything's been going along very smoothly. We're getting set now to crate up that old organ and make the old switcheroo.
You're going to give them this thing?
It's too nice?
It's not too nice. It's horrible.
Gosh, I'd pay $20 for it. You think we got cheated?
You never stop, do you?
Neither do you, my boy. You're the one that's been doing all the dealing in this business. If anybody gets hyped, it's you. You are the fall guy. Got it?
I got it.
Good. Now let's get busy and crate up this piece of junk for your friends in Hooterville.
Okay, Joe, let's go.
Boy, oh boy, I hope this doesn't hurt my double attached disc.
You want to put it down, Joe?
Oh, we can make it. Shut up, you four-legged pot roast. We know the cannonball's coming. Oh, boy, now you've done it.
Uh-oh. The pedal.
Yeah, it's got several of them, probably a spare.
Joe, what are you doing?
Gonna hide the evidence. After all, how are they gonna know when it was done?
Joe, you can't do that.
Oh, come on, it probably didn't do any harm.
Well, nevertheless, Joe, it is our responsibility, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, what do you expect me to do?
Hello, everybody. Well, Mr. Kirby and his helper here come for the organ. I paid them off. They got the new one loaded on the cannonball, all ready to deliver to the church.
Yeah? Well,
Come on, let's get going. Now, I'll give you a hand. Come on, Joe. Joe?
I can't do it.
Oh, for crying out loud, Joe.
He means it, Sam.
What?
Well, I guess you better take your new organ back with you.
What do you mean?
Why, Mr. Carson?
Well, you'd find out sooner or later, but I damaged it.
Damaged it? How? Why?
Take it easy, pal. We'll be willing to keep this one instead of the new one.
Well, now, wait. There's no need to get excited about it. There's no harm done. It can be fixed. It's okay. Come on.
I don't know. I got my responsibility to the company.
You're what?
I can't take back damaged merchandise.
Actually, it was only one of the pedals.
There, you see? Come on.
Damage is damage.
Forget it.
No, Boyd's right. He treated us decent. I'd be ashamed to think for 1 minute that I tried to pull a shenanigan on him.
Yeah, but...
Forgive me, son.
You bet.
Well, come on, let's get this thing back inside where we can fix whatever's busted. Right. I'll help.
Bye, everybody. It's been...
I'm proud of you, Joe.
Oh, that's all right. You know, there's something about that guy.
The one with Freddie?
I swear I've seen him before. He's wearing a checkered vest, pointy shoes, and a little mustache.
Tonight at 8 on the $1 Million Movie, Lauren Bacall and Gregory Peck star in Designing Woman. Now, stay tuned for Green Acres, next, here on TV 39.